couple of my sergeants were living here in Los Angeles, drafted out of USC. I was their captain. They were constantly trying to get me to come here. I said, I'll try LA. And long story short, in May, late May of '71, I drove to LA. And my sergeants, they're all waiting for me. They're all in school. And we go hear the #1 psychiatrist in the world at USC speak. And Phil May at the time was world-renowned in schizophrenia, and also was the head of MPI, the largest psychiatric facility in America at UCLA, and also had just become head of all the VA, because the VA was going to expand and trying to figure out what they were going to do with all these Vietnam vets coming home, because the war was supposed to end. Next thing you know, Phil May walks over to me, and he looked at me like I was a peer. He said, look, you know, I'm over the VA. We're eventually going to I got to fill all these departments, get ready. We have no idea what your guys are going through. We don't have any professionals that know anything. They're classifying them as schizophrenics. They're not schizophrenics. They got war problems. They're classifying them as character disorders, means they can't handle authority. Could you just come? I'll pay you to assess this hospital that I'm taking over. It's like, I don't know what to do with it. I'm not a veteran. I said, thanks, but no thanks. I'm heading to San Francisco. Eventually, I said, all right, I'll come down for the summer, because I was running out of money, and my career started there. And it's you know, one miracle after another. I went there. I did a 3-month report that said the hospital sucks, and 100 reasons why. And he said, help me fix it. And he set up a position for me. I started the National Veterans Foundation to fill in the gaps. They wouldn't, you know, at the time in the mid-'80s, they weren't addressing Agent Orange. It was a hush-hush, you know. They weren't addressing veterans in prison. They definitely didn't, invest in the homeless. And there was no toll-free number where people can call and figure out, how do you navigate a system so complicated, so bureaucratic, so full of paper, that 99% of most veterans don't use it. And a young man is not going to sit and try to navigate through rudeness, crudeness, paperwork. Vietnam vets now, who average age is 60 or 61 or whatever, need health care. The ones that are alive, that have survived and transcended, if they had even mild PTSD or traumatic brain injury or any types of amputations, if they're around today, they've survived. Counseling for PTSD, yeah, it's available for them. I mean, the vet centers I set up in '79, Public Law 9622, under Carter and that Congress, is still available. But that is packed now with Desert Storm, OEF, OIF veterans. I mean, you know, they are the majority. One thing that we learned in Vietnam, and particularly, is a few of us mental health cowboys who really fought the road of getting what we now know as PTSD in the psychiatric textbook, was that it's never been treated. It wasn't treated. There was nothing. They gave it names. They diagnosed it, you know, from soldier's heart in World War I to combat fatigue, World War II in Korea, and it was just a diagnosis. There was no treatment. So they just thought, wow, you know, and they go to a VA and we'll put them on a ward and we'll medicate them, and that's the treatment. It was never taken serious. And, you know, World War II, really, I mean, tremendous suffering in World War I and World War II of our soldiers, loaded with what we know as PTSD, was just not addressed. It wasn't defined. They just drank themselves to death or smoked themselves to death, or there were no statistics on the suicide. We called them hobos back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and they were basically homeless vets. We call them homeless vets today. I mean, there were Vietnam vets that I found in the mid-'70s that traveled the train, like the hobos did in the 40s and 50s after World War II.